Have you ever prayed for something and then God took you so literally that you were like, whoa, whoa, be careful what you wish for is right. I need to tell you about what I prayed for in 2024 and how God is just blowing my mind. I prayed to God and I was very deliberate. I did this meditation and I literally prayed to God to remove the dead weight from my life. Now, transparently, I was talking about my love handles, okay? I was talking about my love handles and I was also talking about mindset. So there was like a literal and figurative meaning to dead weight. I do want to feel lean this year. I am working towards it. I've been losing weight. I've been feeling great. I've been feeling lighter, and that's more than I could ask for. But I also wanted to feel spiritually lighter. I wanted my self-doubt to just wash away or, be taken by the wind. I wanted to just get rid of the dead mental weight, the overthinking, the constantly second guessing myself, the overcomplicating certain processes. And God has totally been delivering on that, and it could have just ended there. But what I was not expecting was for God to start removing people in my life who I historically had not had the courage to remove. I have videos where I talk about cutting people off or distancing from people. It has been something I've gotten pretty good at, just to be honest. But there are certain people who I want in my life. Like still to this day, I want in my life. I want them to stay in my life. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that in this specific season that I'm in, they might not need to be in there in this season with me. Like, if I'm very honest and if I take my own advice, I always say people are either seeds or weeds and there's no in between. Now that can change depending on what you're doing or when. I don't think people are always either seeds or weeds. There are a couple of people in my life currently who are weeds for this season. And I kind of was just hoping that they would just chill in the background and I would get through it, right? But I think that in praying for that, God answered my prayers by putting me in a position where I needed to distance from certain people that I didn't plan to distance from. This is not the first time that I've sat and prayed to God and then just surrendered for whatever God was going to do with that prayer. At the end of the day, if you believe in God, if you believe in a higher power, then you know that there is a reason for everything and you don't always know what that reason is and you're not always meant to know what that reason is. And there have been so many times in the past where I've prayed for something and things have played out. My prayers were answered, but not in the way that I predicted they would have been answered, which is basically what's happening right now. And now that I've been through that a few times, I just sit back and smile because I know I'm being protected at the end of the day. And that is why I always say, if you are going to pray, do not pray for something specific. Pray for a sign. If you believe in manifestation, which I talk about all the time on this channel, it's obviously okay to cut out something specific and put it on your vision board when you're manifesting. But when you really think about what you're trying to manifest or what you're praying for, it's the feeling that that thing is going to give you. So focus more on that feeling that you want and less on the specific outcome. Because if you are praying for or trying to manifest a specific outcome, then you're claiming that you know better than God or the universe what's best for you. I don't think I know better because I know I don't know better. I know that there are multiple times that I can point to in my past where the exact thing that I asked for was not what I was supposed to have. Like, thank God, literally, that I didn't get the exact thing I was praying for or asking for because really I needed to dodge that bullet. That was not something that was good for me. Instead, what I got was actually what I really wanted. I just hadn't envisioned it playing out that way. It is so, so, so important when you're praying, when you're manifesting, to detach from what the outcome looks like and to focus your energy on how you want to feel. I focused my energy in this prayer on feeling light. Like when I said, please remove dead weight, I was predicting, not attaching, but predicting that God was going to make me skinnier and God was going to make my brain less cluttered with negativity and self-doubt and all of that stuff. And that has been happening, which I'm super grateful for. What I wasn't predicting is that God would literally make me feel lighter through the people that I was interacting with on the daily. that's the part where I'm like, oh, I asked for that, didn't I? I didn't realize that that's what I was asking for, but I kind of did ask for that. When you are somebody who trusts God, trusts the universe, trusts the higher power enough to ask for a feeling, ask for peace, ask for success, prosperity, whatever it is that you want to feel, when you ask, if you trust them enough to ask for that thing and leave it in God's hands, you need to understand when those prayers are being delivered, because they're not going to be delivered more often than not the way that you expect them to be delivered. You're not over here orchestrating this whole thing called life, so you don't know what's actually best. You might think that you know what's best, but you're looking at it through a very 2D perspective of what you think needs to be rearranged in your life. You're not thinking about these other people that are being rearranged, like, this is not what's best for them. God is taking that into account as well, because it's not just about you. I have to tell you a funny story that I wasn't planning on telling, but this is the funniest story ever. I've never told this before. So my dad was my principal. My dad and my uncle were both principals at my high school. My dad was like the principal of the whole school. My uncle was one of the grade level principals, but he also managed the scheduling. So me and my cousin, I feel like, I don't know if I should be telling you guys this, but whatever. Me and my cousin, we used to go into his office, and I only did this one time, but we would go into his office and put the cute boys in our classes. So I knew my cousin did this before, so I'm like, okay, let me do it. Like, there's this cute boy that I like, I want to put him in my class. And so I was in honors math. So I literally like snuck into my uncle's office without him knowing. Obviously, he had no idea we were doing this, and put that boy in my honors math class. So we show up to that class the next day, and he's like, I don't know why I'm in this class. Like, I'm not even in honors math. Like, I'm in regular math. And I just remember sitting there like, I don't know either, but I need to enjoy these few days while I have them, because he's about to get taken out of class. But I just remember thinking like, yo, this is what happens when you mess with stuff that you have no business messing with. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm God, okay? Obviously. And I'm not saying that like this metaphor is life. But if you were to just look at this as a metaphor, it's like I tried to orchestrate something that I wanted. But in doing that, I was messing with this kid's life, because this kid is not supposed to be in honors math. He's supposed to be in regular math. So while you're over here trying to manifest your specific person, you don't realize that this person might need a different type of person to be with to fulfill what they were put on this earth to fulfill. You might need a different type of person to fulfill what you're trying to fulfill. So I don't even like all of these, videos on YouTube about like manifesting my specific person or manifesting your SP. I think it's so against what manifestation and faith are really about, because you're claiming that you know who you're supposed to be with. I had to realize when Ahmed and I started talking that God knew better than I did, because Ahmed originally, like when we first started talking, if I let myself get so attached to the image of the type of guy I thought I was going to be with, I would have stopped talking to Ahmed, because Ahmed did not fit the profile of the type of guy I wrote in my notebook. But what Ahmed fit and passed with flying colors was the way that I said I wanted to feel in a relationship. So I almost self-sabotaged the thing that I actually was praying to God for in a relationship, the kind of man that I wanted as far as how he made me feel, because I didn't picture Ahmed when I thought about who my future husband would be. And that's not to say Ahmed is a beautiful looking man. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not any shade to how he looks. It's not about his physical appearance. I'm not talking about that. I've always been more attracted to people's personalities anyway. But for me, it was like how I thought he would act was not how Ahmed was acting. But how I felt was how I wanted to feel. And so that's what ultimately made me stick around in our dating phase, was like every single day I would literally ask myself, but how do you feel? I'm like, I feel great. I feel safe. I feel emotionally safe, which was very weird for me. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I was like, I feel safe. I feel like I trust this guy. I feel loved. And so every day I would just continue to ask myself, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? And that's when I finally realized, like, oh, I'm about to miss the most amazing thing that is happening to me, the prayer that I've been praying for, because I'm attached to what I thought it would look like or how I thought it would happen. But why? Who cares about that? It's like saying you want this dream apartment and you get nitty gritty with the details and even with the address of it and what city it's in and how it all looks. And then you get an apartment that's even better, but it's in a different state that you actually really like living in, but it's just not the one that you put on your vision board. So you want to pass up the one that's actually even better in a better state with a better view. Like when you say it like that, it just sounds ridiculous. But that's what happens when we get so attached to these specifics around what we want rather than the feeling that we want to have. So my advice, as we make our vision boards, as we continue to manifest and pray throughout the rest of the year, is focus on how you want to feel. And once you focus on how you want to feel and you ask for that, be open to how it's going to happen for you. When I said I wanted to be lighter and get rid of my dead weight, I was super happy when I was getting on the scale over the past few weeks, seeing the number go down, 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 down. I was a little bit thrown off and shocked when certain relationships in my life started falling apart. But when I took a step back, I was like, oh, I asked for God to remove dead weight. Okay, I can't be mad. This is how, like, now that these relationships are on a back burner, I feel better. So I always have to go to how I feel. I feel better. I feel relieved. And genuinely no bad blood. I hope that those people truly feel relieved too. I am sure that God is doing something in their life by removing me too. I always need to caveat that with the cut people off convo, because I don't like how one-sided it is. To me, that's not faith-based. Like for us to just talk about cutting people off as if it's only what's best for us without realizing that that's what's best for them too. If it's best for me to not have you in my life, then it is also best for you to not have me in your life. And I know God has a plan for you, just like how God has a plan for me. And clearly right now, neither of us are part of each other's plans. And that's how I make peace with all of that. I hope that this gives you a different perspective, not just in the manifestation space, but when it comes to prayer. Pray for a feeling, pray for a sign, but try your best not to attach to specific things, because then you're not giving God room to do what God does best. Then you're not giving God room to surprise and delight you with something that's even better than what you thought you wanted. Let me know what you think about this, or if you have any questions. I love you so much. And as always, stay powerful, my loves.